Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers, welcome to a short episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here. I don't have time to do a music fact. The world has not gone crazy. I'm doing Banfield. I have to log on in 30 minutes. So I really wanted to get this at least recorded so it's not pushing out at 2 a.m. If you haven't heard by now, Kaitlin Armstrong found guilty 2 hours to get the verdict. I called it. I said 2 hours, maybe 3, but that 2-hour mark, they came back. Then I thought they were not going to do sentencing because the cameras were cut off when the judge started to explain it. And I thought maybe it was going to be at a later date. I was wrong. They did victim impact statements today. When the verdict was read, if you haven't watched, Kaitlin was pretty emotionless. I noticed when she walked in after they announced a verdict had been reached and Kaitlin came back in the courtroom, her neck was very blotchy. And that's like a sign of stress. And I'm sure she's stressed because I think she probably knew a quick verdict was not going to be in her favor. She's shown very little emotion the entire trial from what I've heard, and really didn't show emotion when her family got up on the stand. We'll talk about it. But let's start with Cash's victim impact statement. She was the first to get up. She met Mo while handling social media at a race that was in Vermont. At first, she hung out with Mo's brother, Matt. Remember, we talked about her helping him stack firewood. Eventually, she met Mo. They became fast friends, and Mo moved her beyond belief with her determination and her grit. When Mo came to Austin the day before she was murdered, they were so excited to see each other that they actually left Mo's bag at the airport, had to go back and get it. That night, Cash said they slept in her king-size bed and caught up on life. She said that was the best she had slept in a long time. The morning Mo was murdered, she talked to her brother Matt on the phone, and when Mo was leaving to go on her bike ride, Cash snapped a picture of Mo and sent it to Mo's mom with the caption, "Your girl is in safe hands in Austin." A couple of people that were in the courtroom said when Cash said that, Mo's mom started to sob. She said she has tons of guilt for not being in a position to protect Mo the night she was killed. She said she didn't realize she did CPR for 10 minutes. She didn't realize Mo was deceased while she was doing it. Cash still lives in that apartment. She said she did not want darkness to consume that place. She also says she feels Mo there. She said at the same time it is hard living there. When she gets home, she starts to walk up the stairs, and she said she has to convince herself to do it. She has to tell herself there's nothing scary on the other side of the door. When she does laundry, she sees that defect that was left in there from when Mo was shot in the head. When she gets something out of her pantry, she thinks of Mo standing right there. She said she can't tell how many times she has relived that night in the 544 days since Mo was murdered. She thinks about it every day. She's had panic attacks so bad that at times she thought she was dying. She said giving Mo CPR was the longest 10 minutes of her life. She says she has PTSD. She does not like to hear sirens. She can't look at an ambulance. And she doesn't even like seeing stains on anything. Her burden is heavy. All of their burdens are heavy. Up next was Matthew Wilson, Mo's brother. When he gets on the stand, he starts crying and says his sister was his confidant and his only sibling. She was the only one he could talk to about certain things, and she always understood. He said Mo was a good listener, and he talked to her every day in the months before her murder. Mo had an idea they should text daily and share 3 things that were amazing about their day. They did that for weeks up until her murder. He said Mo was really unique and he was really excited to see her cycling career gaining some steam. The last time that they talked, they had discussed Matt coming to see Mo compete in one of her big races. When Mo was murdered, his parents knocked on his apartment door to tell him that Mo had been killed. He immediately knew something was wrong before they said anything. And then they told him, "We lost Mo." He said he freaked out, ran out of the apartment building and was punching walls and ran into the street. He said they were all crying and his mom said, "It gets worse. She was murdered." He said his whole world changed in that moment. And he listened in as his parents called other family to tell them about Mo, but he said he really couldn't stand to hear it. He said Mo was really coming into her own. And the last time they saw each other in person was New Year's Eve of 2021. They went skiing together. They talked about life and just gave each other advice on the things they were dealing with. He said he misses her, and he says her life was taken from her for no reason. She won't ever take 20 minutes to bake her banana bread again. She'll never get married, buy a house, have kids. That was all for him. He was a college student when this happened. Now he's the vice president of Moriah Wilson Foundation. Up next was Karen Wilson, Mo's mom. She said Mo had a force inside her, and on the day she was born, Mo screamed so loud. As a baby, she wanted to climb and do things, but she was just stuck in this tiny little baby body. She said Mo was strong, but she was gentle. Mrs. Wilson made up a song for Mo, with Mo as the Amazon woman. She said Mo lived her life and didn't waste any time. It's almost like she somehow knew her life would be short. They've lived in their home for 30 years, and in fact, Mo's dad built that home. They did a lot of things outdoors, and Mo was just born to ride a bike. Her mom said she knew that before Mo ever did. Mo and Matt never had any sibling rivalry, and if they had a problem, they would just talk through it. She said they were best friends. She said Mo was a hard worker, and she didn't want to put people out. And she thought about Mo when she saw how hard the prosecution was working in getting her case prepared for trial. When Mo tore her ACL, biking was a really good physical therapy, and Mo's dream shifted to become a pro cyclist, and her mom said she did it. Her dream came true. When Mo was killed, she saw a trooper come into their driveway, and at first, she thought it might be Matt. Then they told her. She said it was the worst moment of her life, and she's never been the same since. Her world is upside down, and it will never be the same. Their community has rallied around them, and she said grief is just different for everybody. She said Cash has brought so much into their lives, and she considers her a second daughter and a soul sister to Mo. She tells the jury, if you're a parent, you know how much they mean. And when they're taken from you, the depth of the love you had for your child is equal to the depth of the pain you feel and live with. She said she just misses her daughter, and there's nothing she can do. She would have done anything to take that bullet instead of Mo. She said, I wasn't there to protect her, and Mo died alone on that floor. And she didn't deserve to die like that. Up next was Eric Wilson, Mo's dad. He said he was so proud of Mo, never had a problem with her. They texted a lot and they were very close. He said, as a dad, you're the protector, but you can't be with your adult kids all the time or even regularly sometimes. He was on his way to a meeting about 20 miles away. A colleague called him and said he needed to come back now, that Karen was there with the police. He said his heart sank. He knew it was one of the kids. When he got there, Karen told him what happened, and he said he was devastated. He said the devastation is unexplainable. It's a nightmare, a bad dream, but it's reality. It's tough for him to watch his wife and son try to navigate through this. He said Mo was beautiful, and she was coming into her own professionally. The last few times he talked to Mo, she was doing great. She was winning all of her races. And he told her he was so proud of her. She was becoming who she was meant to be. Mo said cycling felt right. And for her life to be taken so senselessly and premeditated, why? For what? She didn't deserve that. The next person up was Mike Armstrong, Kaitlin's dad. He said Kaitlin was special and he loved her from the moment she was born. Kaitlin always cared about her health. She eats vegan food and overall is just a healthy person. She ran track in school, played volleyball, and wanted to be a veterinarian. She was loyal to her friends. He was amazed at how she would travel alone with no fear. She was in real estate and banking, and she was smart. He said, this has been a tragic time and difficult. He said, I know it's worse for Mo's family, and I can't imagine what they're dealing with. Up next was Dr. Judith Knotts. She is the chaplain at the jail. She says Kaitlin has enriched her life from when they first met 7 months ago, and she's honored to have met her. They meet every Monday and have mass together. Kaitlin reads the gospel to the others and was insightful about the scripture. She asked Kaitlin what she did in isolation all day and night, and Kaitlin said that she does yoga, she meditates, and she reads. The chaplain helped Kaitlin get new books in the jail library because she had read most of what they had. She said Kaitlin is positive and her empathy is the most impressive. An inmate in the cell next door has issues with pain, and Kaitlin taught her how to meditate to work through all that. The last person up was Christine Armstrong, Kaitlin's sister. Christine did the I love you sign in sign language, and Kaitlin did it back but did not smile. She also, from what I understand, had no visible reaction when her dad was on the stand. She said her heart is broken for Mo's family. She said Kaitlin was a second mother to her after their parents divorced when she was a baby. Kaitlin is 3 years older than Christine. She said that she and Kaitlin have always been best friends. Kaitlin had to grow up fast and take on responsibilities. Kaitlin moved to Austin in 2012 and Christine moved in 2019. Yoga was a huge part of Kaitlin's life, and she said Kaitlin is loving, caring, a beautiful, bright light. She tells Kaitlin she always looked up to her. She said, I love her so much, and says she hates that Kaitlin has been painted in the light she has. She said she's not a bad person, she's a good person, and has cared for others, and anyone who knows her will say the same. She said she respects the jury's verdict. Now, the assistant DA, Mr. Jones, asks if she gave Kaitlin her passport, and she says no. The DA says, did she steal it? Christine says, I didn't give it to her, so she must have taken it. So we did get that answer. And I'm not going to bash Kaitlin's family. Now, the jury will come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Texas time. They will decide her sentence. If you remember, Kaitlin filed that motion while the trial was ongoing, saying that she wanted the jury to be the one to decide her sentence. I don't think they're going to give her community supervision. I don't think any less than life in prison, which is what she deserves. So that's it. I will update you guys tomorrow, probably in a YouTube short about the sentence. I do expect it to be life. I think we all do, as deserved. The guilty verdict doesn't bring Mo back, but maybe we all take a little bit of Mo's spirit and persevere and pour our heart into things that we love, and maybe we'll come out better people in covering such tragedy. All right, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you soon.